The follow-up to the roguelike genre-defining Hades is finally here. The original stole gamers' hearts with its vibrant art, amazing voice acting, and some of the most satisfying yet addictive gameplay loops there is. But the question is Hades 2 just a rehashing and retelling, or is it an evolution to both the story and genre? Hi, my name is Dove and I love indie video games, and today we're going to talk about Supergiant's latest title, Hades 2. Hades 2 absolutely stands on its own. If you're new to the series, you don't actually need to know the previous story, however, it will just help paint a better picture and you'll understand a few quick mentions from some of the other characters. Outside of that, if you're new to the series or are interested in it, this is just a great spot to jump in. The plot sees the main character, Melanoi, on a quest to save a family she never met, including the title's namesake Hades, and get vengeance on the Titan Kronos, of course. The series bases itself loosely, and I mean loosely, off Greek mythology, a point I will get to at the end of the video. If you're not familiar, Hades is one of the original gods who usurped control of the Earth and afterlife from their parents, the Titans. You know, Mother Earth, Father Time, the beginning of beginning. In Hades 2, Father Time is back and he's pretty goddamn pissed off. He kidnapped Hades and his family and has the dead roaming the land of the living in this chaotic twist of events. Your job is to fight your way down into the very depths of hell and take down this Stewie Griffin version of the creator of time.
Return to Shadow now.
I foresee every one of your useless attempts.
Without spoiling the original for those who are jumping right into this one, it's nearly an inverse of the theme to the original. The combat here is just as responsive and simplistic on the surface as the original. It adds a lot of depth with some new mechanics, but for those jumping right in, it's a basic moveset. It doesn't require too much thought to get going and have some success. You have your basic attack and your special attack, and then a cast. Your basic and special attack are essentially just two variations of the same weapon, though. Generally, one attacks at close range and the other is more of a ranged effect, but they vary in which is which depending on the weapon that you select before your run. The cast is the same regardless of the weapon that you choose, though. It essentially works as a little bit of a trap and stops enemies right in their tracks momentarily. All three of those attacks can be imbued with magic by just holding down the particular button. This is an absolute game changer. Even without upgrades or blessings by the gods, you can clear a screen in seconds if you use the right sequence of these magic style attacks. If you've played the original, they kind of reworked the dash. It's not a hard count, now it's more of a cooldown effect, so you can't just go dashing into random danger and hope you can get out of it. It's a little more planning, but for those new to the series, it won't affect you too much. Just know that you have a tiny window for that to cool down. You can always buff that though with the right special or upgrade. You'll have to monitor a mana bar for your requisite magic attacks, but that bar resets every time you go into a new screen, and there are a lot of ways you can replenish it during battle with different upgrades and boons. So essentially, there's three basic attacks, with each of those being made more powerful just by holding down the button. Pretty simple. But to make it just slightly more complex, the game also throws a hex attack gamers' way. You can charge this very attack just by using magic more and more, and once it's unleashed, this hex attack can be a certain lifesaver or god killer depending on your build. You'll have to meet the specific god in order to unleash these attacks or specials, but that's written into your playthrough, so just progress through the game and you'll eventually meet them very early on. The bare bones combat of Hades 2 is sharp, fast-paced, and extremely challenging. Health is not easy to come by at first, and the screen gets thick with enemies in a hurry. If you aren't on point with your defense or your dash, or your offense is weak, you'll be sent back to your home base in no time. After returning to that base after a few runs, you'll be able to select from a variety of weapons. Before defeating Kronos for the first time, you'll essentially be able to pick from 4 different weapons, all with unique attacks and omega attacks. The combat is incredibly responsive and smooth though, but that's just the beginning. The real draw are the enemy melting builds that you can make through the various blessings, or in the case of Hades, boons, and other roguelike upgrades of course. Like many games in the genre, you work your way through procedurally generated maps, so each layout, enemy location, and upgrade is completely randomized every time you pass through. If you're a fan of the genre, I don't need to explain much more, but if you're wondering why this is so intriguing, it's partly the randomness. The way the game requires you to think on your feet and adapt to what you get makes Hades 2 incredibly replayable and frankly addictive. You always feel like you're just one boon or upgrade away from taking down Kronos, which inevitably leads to just one more run. Then you look and it's 4 a.m. It honestly has that kind of hook. Mixing and matching all the different powers and upgrades can make you feel like there's limitless possibilities to your character's build. And when you hit one that melts away a boss in seconds, it just makes you want to come back for more and more. The hub or home base of the game is a definite upgrade or move in the right direction, at least from the original. It feels a lot more intricate with your power-ups between runs. The new Arcana system, where you pick tarot-looking cards to apply upgrades that last through your entire run, are definitely different from the original mirror system. You have an overall limit to the amount of cards, or at least the power of those cards, that you can use for each run, but it has a nice system where if you suck like me and you keep dying throughout, you can load up on those cards by unlocking more and more. It's honestly a great system to allow gamers who are better at the game to try to work their way through it without those, but for those who need the upgrades like myself, you can earn them at a good and consistent pace. And frankly, the whole game feels like that. You're always earning something. You'll be unlocking new items, upgrades, and meeting new characters deep into your playthroughs, so you'll consistently be discovering stuff throughout. Another area where the game separates itself from the rest is the voice acting. Each and every character has a deep backstory, as they can pull from the Greek mythology, and the actors that portray them have a similar feeling of authenticity and depth. From the sweet and flirty Aphrodite to the total prickbag Kronos, they have a quality spectrum of characters with the voice acting chops to back them all up. Along with that, they just have some of the best background music there are. It's all over the place, but sometimes when you're in a boss battle, it's just so intense and adds to the great flavor of the game. The art style is as vibrant and detailed as the original. A slightly different color scheme, with it maybe being a bit more focused on greens than reds, but at the heart it feels like we are in the exact same universe, which at the end of the day is what fans of the original likely wanted. What I was most concerned with initially was if the plot is a return to the underworld, then are all the levels just going to be carbon copies of the original but in reverse? Luckily, with a good explanation in the plot, you'll have to take a different route, thus giving Supergiant plenty of room to innovate, as well as have a few callbacks here and there. And a tiny spoiler, after you defeat Kronos the first time, it opens up a whole new path entirely, and that just makes it feel like a whole new game. Tech-wise, I had little to no problems running this one on a couple different machines via Steam. I had one random crash that never repeated itself, and once I had settings optimized, I never experienced any lag or slowdowns from a full screen of full enemies or effects. Switch and Switch 2 players are reporting smooth gameplay as well, with the latter capable of 120 FPS if you have a screen that can handle it. And sadly, that's where that list ends. While I have full confidence that Hades 2 will be out on PlayStation 5 and the Xbox Series, there are no confirmed dates as of yet. Supergiant has said they have not ruled out ports for Xbox and PlayStation consoles, but we are still waiting to hear any news at this time. But since the game is selling record numbers and has a mid-90s Metacritic score, and the original Hades was ported for both PlayStation and Xbox as well, I think it will just be a matter of time before they hit those consoles. But for those who can purchase Hades 2, I fully recommend it. For me, this is going to compete for the best game of 2025. If you've never played a roguelike game and you're curious, this is a great place to dive in. The upgrades that you earn throughout each run aren't just varied, but they're incredibly helpful. And although the currency system might make newcomers and maybe returners go cross-eyed, there's enough to earn and learn and unlock between runs to make the next one way more manageable. It won't be long before you're just an ass-kicking machine. In fact, my only criticism of the game is that they say they are a Greek mythology-inspired game. And for the most part, while they might take liberties here and there with the characters, I don't have much of an issue with that. But one area I have to put my foot down is Kronos. The snootiest, most douchebag of all characters in Hades lore, the father of Greek gods. Why, oh why, is he wearing a necklace that has Roman numerals on it? Greeks had their own number scheme, and while yes, they had a system that was similar, they also had an alphanumeric number system. The Greek father of time would not borrow a number scheme from the goddamn Romans. Sorry, I had to get that off my chest. But back to the original. Overall, I have to recommend it to pretty much everyone. Even if you're not into the genre, this is a great place, as I mentioned, to get started. It gives you a lot to cling to. Great music, great art, great acting, and just some of the most addictive gameplay that you will see. So if you're interested, check out Hades 2, available on Steam, Switch, and Switch 2. Thanks for watching, folks. If you enjoyed this, don't forget to hit the like button. And subscribing goes a long way towards bringing you more content like this. We also have a weekly news podcast called the Indie Radar, where we focus on indie news and upcoming titles. Thanks again for watching from all of us here at The Gamer Buff.